Drug dealers of Reddit, what is the strangest thing you have been offered in compensation for drugs? Someone offered me their dog for a $50 bag. They were such a shitty person and a terrible dog owner. You best believe I took that F-king dog and we had 8 glorious years together. Don't tell my current dog. That was the most caring dog I have ever met. I miss the big guy every day. That asshole probably bragged about what a good deal he got, but let's be real, the dog was the real winner there. My friend would sell his boss weed and then was paid through his paycheck. He thought it was a great deal until I explained that he is now paying income tax on his weed sales. Yeah. But that also means it's clean money. If you were selling enough weed to be able to buy something expensive. This is a great deal. Ugh. Don't you know that for drug dealers, paying taxes is a valued privilege? It's called money laundering. I had a kid write me an essay for To Kill a Mockingbird in high school for a 1/8 of weed. Got an A. Gave him an extra bag for it. Added info 1. No. I was not the teacher. Added info 2. I didn't read it because of some issues, unrelated to drug dealing, going on in my life at the time. This is my favorite response. That book was so good. My old dealer got his leaky roof fixed by a roofing crew he sold crack to. Sadly, his roof still leaks because his roofing crew smokes crack. Former drug dealer here. I used to do it so I could afford to eat while at uni. I once had somebody offer to invite me to Christmas dinner in exchange for some weed. I said yes and I got to enjoy Christmas with him and his family stoned out of our minds. Was an awesome experience, and since I couldn't afford the trip home for Christmas, it turned what would have been a depressing day into one of my all-time favorite memories. At one point during my time working with the state was informed that a client had offered her children to her cocaine dealer in exchange for more cocaine. Her cocaine dealer was aware she was seeing us for treatment and proceeded to call us and report the situation. The children were removed from her care. My dealer in high school would get people, usually gullible freshmen, to give him their $80 120 graphing calculator in exchange for $10.20 worth of weed. This man made a serious profit off those things. Fucking TI-84s. So expensive, and then after the semester I never used that fucker again. This response just made me realize that the girl I knew who was in such a rush to borrow my calculator for an exam and never gave it back probably just sold it for drugs. Fuck you, Katie. But nobody is shocked. My dealer took magic cards back in 94 and 95. Literally cardboard crack. I used to pay with loose change when I was a poor kid. Weed dealer loved it. His job had vending machines. And I supported his snack habit. Where in the world did you get that much change? In my younger days before being a parent, I sold weed and ended up fronting a lot out, and then when the people couldn't pay me they would give me iPods, bongs, knives, and one time almost a gun. But I didn't know if it was stolen, so I declined. I accepted almost anything that I thought was useful or cool. The strangest thing I got was a $1 t-shirt. It was just $1, but it was folded into a tiny shirt and I thought it was cute, so the kid basically got a gram for $1. I still have it too. This was in the 90s. A school near me was going through some major renovations. They were practically going to be built again from the ground up. Anyways, a district administrator tried to trade one of those big outdoor school signs for some cocaine. Hey, I don't know the values involved, but it'd be pretty cool to have one of those giant signs. Know a dude who traded his trumpet for some blow. That is so incredibly sad. A trumpet won't get you very much blow. I traded a PB&J for pot once. My dealer was hungry and I had a packed lunch. The best deal in here. I used to hang with an older lady. She was a crackhead. I once saw her dealer offer her a 50 slab for some macaroni jewelry her daughter mad for her. She didn't do it. Good for her. Whoa. I've met guys like that. I think a lot of them grow up with addicts, and even though addiction is how they make their living, there's a lot of contempt for addicts. Not a drug dealer, but my drug dealing friend once came into the kitchen of the restaurant while I'm chopping celery or something, and he's dragging a big huge black garbage bag behind him. He'd already been to prison once and just got back out apparently. I said, "George, is that a F-king body?" He goes, "FCK, yeah it is." I gripped the knife a little tighter at that point and looked for the exit. He pulled the garbage bag back and he had 3 huge Alaskan salmon in there. Some guy didn't have enough cash, so he paid him in salmon. Lol. I gutted them, cleaned them, and then George paid me in salmon. It was good salmon. Friend of mine used to sling various drugs while he was in college. Mostly weed and psychedelics, but he dabbled in selling the hardish tea here and there. He said some dude offered to live with him as a personal CCK sucker for a week in exchange for some exorbitant amount of cocaine. Something like 2 ounces for being an on-tap BL job machine for a week. My friend didn't even have that much coke at one time. The most he ever had at a single time was like 20 grams, and he only sold it when he came across it for a stupid cheap price and during spring break when all the hardcore college partiers were going on spring or summer break. He turned down the offer. Edit. Changed exuberance to exorbitant thanks to you. Try using science and his/hers apparently superior grammar knowledge. Crackheads be like, yeah. I got a washing machine. Door. Double quote. Edit. It's a Rich Voss joke from White Boys in the Hood. Buddy of mine dealt meth. He had like an extra 4 oven doors. Could make for a decent shield in the event of a zombie apocalypse. When I was in middle school, someone stole their grandpa's World War II souvenirs to trade for pot. Friend of mine traded him $30 worth of weed for a 1941 Hitler Youth dagger recovered from one of his grandpa's kills. Absolutely gutted. Kids can be so ignorant. Imagine what those souvenirs might have meant to his grandfather. Strangest? I've been offered blowjobs by both sexes. Every gift card you can imagine. An iguana. Pizza. Jimmy John's. $100 bar tab. Computers. And iPads. I guess it's not that strange. But I feel like I should say I never accepted any sexual favors or iguanas. Edit. I spelled accepted wrong. Sorry. How much for the bag? I'd say it's about 1 iguana. Okay, but did you take the iguana? Back in the 90s when I was selling a lot of meth and ecstasy at raves, I had one dude offer me a gold wedding band for a baggie. I took it and noticed it had some Cyrillic writing on the inside. I took it to a pawn shop I knew that had a Russian owner, and he told me it was from a family in Russia that was very connected to the royal family that was murdered during the revolution. I knew the kid and his parents. And I knew he had stolen it from his mother, who was a child of refugees from the revolution. So I just stuck it in an envelope and mailed it back to them. In college I had a buddy whose house we would always hang out at. He sold all sorts of stuff. The best offer he ever got was from this 50-year-old lifelong junkie woman. She was a landscaper in her better days. And once she ran out of money, she started offering my friend plants. He rolled with it. And a few months later he had a beautiful garden in his backyard. She even dug a pond and made a koi pond. Pretty good deal for both parties involved. And a win for us friends too, because we got to chill and smoke and an awesome backyard. Not a drug dealer or user anymore. But once someone offered to trade a box of used children's clothes, a laptop charger, and a single Nike shoe. So whatever was sitting in the car they just broke into? Hey. A single Nike shoe can give that one child who grew up in poverty a chance to look in the mirror while standing side on and pretend he's Michael Jordan. A single shoe is definitely stolen off a shoe rack. Not me. But a guy I got sober with traded a woman a whole bunch of pills for her kids' social security numbers and info. Claimed them as dependents on his taxes. Bro. That's worth like thousands of dollars. WTF though lol. Now that guy is going to sell their identities for way more. Edit. Grammar. So this is what Yoshi did. A punch card to a local sandwich shop that had 9 punches and just needed one more for a free sub. So, almost a free sub. Sounds like a great deal to me. For some reason. This is my favorite.